Hello again, everybody, and on behalf of the All-Star Football Officials Association Training Committee, I'd like to welcome you to our Week 6, I believe, training video. Seasons were full swing, getting going now. Most of the schools have played at least a couple games. I know we're having some cancellations here and there, but you guys, I can see on film, working hard. Again, keep communicating. I'll always tell you that. Communicate to the crew before, during, and after the game. Keep working hard. This week especially, I want you to focus on a couple things, especially pregame. Let's make sure we know the rules, especially the rules and enforcement as it pertains to contact on the kicker, the holder, the snapper, and scrimmage kick formations. Make sure we know those, talk about those. Also, forward and backwards passes. Let's make sure we talk about that. What do we have? What constitutes an illegal forward pass? When can we have them? And the enforcement of them. If we do get an illegal forward pass, how are we going to force it? Loss of down, all the aspects that go along with that. So let's make sure we got that. And also, I just want to remind you guys, keep working hard and stay safe. But I've only got about 3 videos I want to show today. I'll keep it kind of short and sweet. So let's go ahead and dive right into those. All right, this play we're going to see attempted. This is a try for point. So as we let this play out, you'll see kick, and we've got a lot of contact right here. So clearly this defender plows right there. I say plow, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, he runs right through. He runs right through the holder who's on the ground here. So we've got contact there. So let's break down some of the other aspects we have. Good snap. The kick itself is just a bad kick. So let's break down. Was it tipped here? No, it's not tipped. It's just a terrible kick. Hits the center right here, kind of ricochets. Is no good. That's important to know here. So this kick is no good. So you're saying to yourself as a referee, is this contact incidental? No, that's not incidental. He goes right through him. So we have to have something there for roughing, obviously. So roughing the holder. So he makes contact. Not only does he make contact with the kicker who's got his legs out there, and that's pretty good contact on not just the kicker but the holder as well. So we should definitely have something there. So now it's going to be up to the referee to decide. All right, do we have incidental contact? Technically, we have 2 fouls here, right? We've got contact on the kicker and we've got contact on the holder. So he needs to determine, was this contact enough that it's running into or that it's roughing. Clearly, right here, it looks like it's roughing. But let's talk for just a little bit about what we could do, what would make this contact not necessarily incidental, but what would excuse the defense? Why would we not have a flag here? So obviously everybody's going to, hopefully you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe that ball was tipped. All right, maybe so. So as we look at it, no, it's not tipped here. Definitely not tipped. It's just a kind of a poor kick, goes right into the center's back. So we've talked about that. So that would potentially excuse them. But when we're talking about a tip ball, it's also important to note that just because the ball's tipped by the defense doesn't necessarily excuse them from roughing. If by chance this defender gets in and he does tip it, he does get his hand, his foot, his whatever on the ball, this specific defender, then that would excuse this contact. So we would not have roughing. However, just because it might hit a defender here, that in order for that to even be considered, it would have to happen right here at the kick. So you can't just say, well, the defense touched it. Because if a defender gets his hand up here, that does not excuse anything that happens back here. So I want you to keep that in mind. So if a coach ever tells you, well, the defense touched it, it doesn't matter. It has to be right here. And it has to be close to where the kicker kicked the ball. Also, with that being said, let's say this guy tips it. He avoids contact. So the first defender here tips it. He avoids contact, and all of a sudden, this defender afterwards comes and just runs over him or runs into him or makes any kind of contact. The tip by the first defender, so if he tips the ball, that would not excuse this second defender necessarily. In this case, it wouldn't, because they're not close enough for that to excuse this second defender from making contact with him. So please just be aware of that. Just because the ball's tipped by the defense does not excuse. We wouldn't pick up a flag here if we had one down. So that would not excuse that contact against the kicker and the holder. So let's talk about enforcement. Talk a little bit about that. Again, you can go look that up. I can go around forever, but it's in the book. Check it out and get all the aspects of that. But now I specifically want to talk about enforcement. So in this case, we do get the call for roughing the holder. So we've got a call for roughing the holder. That's a personal foul. That's a 15 yard. And again, I reminded you they didn't score. So the only option we have here is to decline the penalty, and which I don't think they want to do. They can decline the penalty and just not take the points, or we would have to enforce this from the previous spot, which in this case was 3. It was a try, go to the 1.5 and enforce it. This is not a dead ball foul. This is a live ball foul. Just because the kick at this point is obvious it's not going to be any good, that does not make this a dead ball foul just because the contact happens after it's kind of obvious that that kick's not going through. So that does not make this a dead ball foul. That is still a live ball foul. Keep that in mind for enforcement. So that, with that being said, if we made it a dead ball foul for some reason, then we would just say that the kick's no good and we would enforce the penalty on the kickoff. That can't happen in this case. It's not a dead ball foul. The only option is to enforce it from the previous spot and replay the try. So again, just keep that in mind. They don't have the option. The kicking team in this case would not have the option to say, you know what, we won't take the points. We'll just leave the points off the board, and we want to take that penalty on the kickoff. We can't do that because they didn't score. The only way we would be able to do that is if that kick goes through. So if the kick goes through and it's successful, then we would have the option to put it on the kickoff. But because the kick is unsuccessful, there is no option there. We only have the ability to put that from the previous spot. So I want you guys, if you can't, just dive into those rules, roughing the kicker, snapper, holder, all that. Make sure you really understand that. And hopefully in the future, if this ever comes up, you'll be well versed on it and be able to explain a foul one way or another. All right, there are a couple aspects to this play that I want to talk about, but it's mainly forward and backward passes. And I don't want to get into mechanics too much of who punches this, that, and the other. What I really want to get into is enforcement of a penalty if we do have a second forward pass. So in this case, we'll let it play out a little bit. So we've got quarterback not under center, quarterback in shotgun. It's got a receiver over here. We'll see as we go along, slow motion, that ball looks like it's forward, and you can see here it's ruled as such. So right here we have a ruling right now that was a forward pass, which is good. But again, I don't want to get into mechanics, but we've got a ruling of a forward pass. Keep in mind also it's 4th down. This is going to be important as we talk about enforcement. And also keep in mind, which you can't tell from here, but this is the last play. Time's running out during this play. So time's running out for the first half during this play. So just keep that in mind as we go. So right here, we've got it ruled that it's a forward pass. And as we go along, it's pretty obvious. Officials, if you know you've ruled it forward, you can see this happening. It ain't like they run a little pitch forward and double reverse and he tosses it like you can tell this is going to be a double pass. So we've already ruled it forward. So let's think in our minds, all right, if he slings this thing downfield, we got a foul. And in this case, this isn't a call like we have with grounding where the referee makes it. If this official has ruled it forward, just right in front of him, he needs to be prepared if he throws this ball forward to make the ruling that this is going to be an illegal forward pass. And get this spot right. Don't just sling a flag in the air, because the spot's very important anytime we have an illegal forward pass. So right here, it's gone. That pass is going forward. So as of right now, we got a foul. The official here, so we'll get a flag down for a second forward pass, which makes it illegal. So second forward pass, so an illegal forward pass. So let's make sure we get a flag down on the spot, which is right here on the 50, I think. Right on the 50, we'll get a flag down there. Keep officiating. Please don't just throw your flag around away. Keep officiating. Goes downfield, got nothing there, incomplete. So ultimately it falls incomplete. So basically the rule on the field is we got an incomplete pass on 4th down. So any other circumstance, if we didn't have a foul, we'd have a turnover on downs. But let's back it up. So this case, you see we got 4th down. We got a foul that should occur right about here, so at the 50. So we have a flag here at the 50. So in this case, let's say it's not the end of a half. We put a foul on the ground here. We'll enforce the penalty 5 yards, which will back it up this way to the 45. And then, don't forget, an illegal 4 pass also includes a loss of down. So in this case, we back up this way, and it would be 1st and 10 for the green team, the defense in this case, after a loss of down right here at this 45. We also have another little part of this play. Again, I told you this was the last play of the first half. So again, if you go back to your rule book, you'll find we do not have an untimed down if we have a foul that includes a loss of down, which in this case we would. So you would signal, if you're referee, illegal 4 pass, which is one arm behind the hand, or one arm behind your back. We have an illegal 4 pass, 5 yards from the spot of the foul, loss of down. Basically, by rule, the half is over because we will not give green, or the defense in this case, the opportunity to run an untimed down. Just remember that if we have a loss of down, last play of the half or the quarter, whatever it is, we will not have an untimed down. So good job here. We go to halftime. We just, you don't need to decline it. Go ahead and let them know what you're doing. Do it right. Go through the motions, enforce it right in the half, and go from there. So good job. All right, for our final clip, I want to show you something. It's a really good catch. Probably something that happens quite often that we don't catch or we're not focused in, but in this case we do get it. And let me give you a disclaimer first off. The scoreboard is not working. It's just not working. The game clock is not working, so don't get distracted by the fact that when they snap the ball, the game clock is not working. So let me just go ahead and throw that out there right now before you comment on that. The game clock is not working. So with that being said, what I want you to do is watch this outside receiver over here, and 6-man outside receiver. This side judge right here is the person responsible for it. This play takes forever to develop. He's going to run around, but I just want you to keep your eye on him and what he does. So you'll see at some point we snap the ball here. Here he goes on his own, steps out of bounds. Good job. We got a hat down here, steps out of bounds. We're running around forever. God almighty, forever. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know, they throw to the back of the end zone. And who do you think they find? If you follow him backwards, we're doing the maze backwards. There he is, out of bounds. If you don't believe me, right here, out of bounds, on his own. He's not pushed out, on his own. Again, good mechanic here. He sees it. He's out, hat down. Don't forget, we get him for the penalty doesn't occur when he goes out of bounds. The penalty itself occurs when he comes back in. So he's out, he comes back in. In this case, the spot doesn't matter. It's in the end zone. Well, it does matter, but it doesn't matter for enforcement in this case because it's in the end zone. So he goes and catches it. You can see after everything breaks down, here he comes in. He's got a flag on the ground, and we have, don't forget, that's illegal participation. Now, the rules in high school are different from college. Once you're eligible at the snap, if you're eligible at the snap, you're always eligible at the snap. You don't become ineligible and have to reestablish. So get that college stuff out of your head. In high school, the foul is for going out of bounds on his own and coming back in. That's where the foul occurs. So you've got a foul there, regardless of whether or not he's the one that touched it, we ran out of bounds over here, or we fumbled, anything happens. The foul has already occurred. In this case, it's just very important that we got it because he just happens to be the guy who catches the ball down here. So we take a touchdown away from a team that didn't earn it because they obviously violated a rule. So in this case, what do? It's for legal participation, 15 from the previous spot, which is, I don't know where we're snapping, 3 left hash. So back them up 15, and we'll replay the down. I don't know what down it is. Again, the scoreboard's not working. I think they were going for it on 4th down here. So even better that we got this. So 15 yards previous spot. replay the down, and don't forget about the clock here. Because they scored a touchdown, even though we're replaying the down, because they scored a touchdown, the clock's going to be on the snap. So just keep that in mind. But again, this is a great job here. This is why we have to stay focused. Don't just assume it would have been real easy to pass on us out. It doesn't matter. But lo and behold, that play takes 20 seconds, and by the end of it, the guy who stepped out of bounds, and the defender may know it and just kind of gave up on him. I don't know that, but anyway, it ends up being that's the guy who catches the ball. So it's a great job here. It's a good get by the side judge, and another reason why. If you got your keys, stay with your keys. Stay in there, stay focused, and don't be scared to call these plays because they could have a big impact on the game like it did here. So we're taking points off the board. All right, that's it for this week. Guys, keep working hard. Stay in your rule books, mechanics manuals. Keep communicating. Now, obviously, I'm going to tell you that every week. Communicate before, during, after the game. And above all, please stay safe. Thank you.